program is brought to you by P. Murphy and Associates, successfully providing IT professionals to Southern California businesses.
Hi, this is Marlene Gibb with What Do You Do? And today's guest is Brian Whelan. And Brian, what do you do?
I'm the owner of Foothill Gym in Monrovia.
And what else do you do at the gym?
I'm also a personal trainer.
You're also a personal trainer. Let's talk about your history, because you're from Dublin.
That's correct, Dublin, Ireland.
When did you come? When did you first come to the United States?
Came as a child with my parents on vacation. We went to the East Coast.
Oh, really?
And it was then, about 1979, that my mother said she had lost me to America. She knew I fell in love with it and that I was definitely coming back.
Oh, really?
So at the very end of 1990, I emigrated to California and haven't looked back since.
Did you go back to Ireland a lot?
Every few years we go back to visit family for my father's birthday, my parents' wedding anniversary, and events like that.
They never wanted to come to the U.S.?
They've come to visit.
But they don't want to live
Oh,
there.
no, they're so settled there.
Yeah, oh, that's what I thought. They're not going to leave. So you came here and let's talk about your jobs, because I think that's very interesting.
Sure. I came and started looking for a job. I didn't have any transportation. Arrived with $95. So I walked around Arcadia. Originally I moved to Arcadia, had an apartment there. Walked around Arcadia, and the first day I was offered 3 jobs. So I started working for Metrocall Paging in Arcadia. And they were a wonderful company, great people, took good care of me. After a few months they promoted me to outside sales, and I was able to buy a car after I got my first month's commission. I told them I had a car to get the position, and cycled my bicycle around the place and did very well, and then moved into more sales and communications with AT&T Bell South. And there I was the #1 in the nation for all of AT&T Bell South properties.
Yes, and you really didn't like the work.
Loved the people. I was very, very good at it. I had phenomenal numbers, but I just didn't like the sales part of it. I didn't like banging on people's doors.
Now, when you took over, well, let's go with your story, because your story fits into what I'm going to ask. So then you quit there, right?
I always wanted to own my own business. As a child, I was fixing bicycles for $2. I'd repair the flat tires at the local college. I was always doing something like that, and I always knew that I wanted to do my own business. So in '91, I joined Foothill Gym when it was located on Foothill Boulevard.
In 5th, right?
And loved it. Loved everybody there, loved the atmosphere, and I finally found something I was passionate about. Hans Hopstacken was the manager at the time, later to become the owner, and he took me under his wing and taught me everything there was to know about bodybuilding and training people. And then one day it kind of hit me, well, I'm good in sales, I'm good in business, and I love bodybuilding and I love the gym industry, so I merged them and apply them all into what I love to do.
And when did you eventually buy it from Hans?
Well, I bought Laguna Health Club in Laguna Beach first in 1996. It was in bankruptcy.
What made you, did you want to go down to Laguna Beach?
I searched all the classifieds, internet, everything. I just kept looking and looking and looking until I found about 3 gyms. This one had the best potential in my mind. It was in bankruptcy. So I purchased it in bankruptcy and built it. Continued to train at Foothill Gym. I still love training at Foothill Gym.
You mean you drove from Laguna all the way up? Okay.
Yeah, I lived up here. And I went back and forth every day. 100-mile round trip.
Oh, I know. My aunt lives in that area.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
So then my friend Hans told me that he was going to sell it. I joked with him for years that I was going to buy it from him. And then he told me that he was actually going to sell it. So I quickly sold Laguna Health Club and bought Foothill Gym.
Now, why did you do that? I mean, you started, you were down in a beautiful environment. A lot of people would say, is he crazy? You know?
It's good if you're going to visit, but when you work, I was on the beach twice in 2 years. It's work. So I was down there 15 hours a day running the business.
Oh, wow.
And I loved Foothill Gym. It was the first place that I really connected with. I loved the people. So I knew that's where my heart was, and that's what I should pursue.
Okay, but then you made the decision to go back to Foothill.
So I sold Laguna Health Club, purchased Foothill Gym from Hans, and then a year later we moved it from Foothill Boulevard onto its current location in Myrtle.
And how did you get that location? Because wasn't that an auto body repair
shop?
Yeah,
it actually was vacant at the time.
Right,
and there was
that.
11 buildings I was looking at, and I kept coming back to this one. I just kept coming back to it. And then one day I went inside it by myself, and I pictured where the equipment was going to be. And then I said, okay, this is the right building.
Wow.
It was the right location. Great landlord. We sat down on 2 crates, hashed out the whole deal, shook hands, and said, now we'll send it off to the attorneys.
That was it?
That was it. It was done.
And when did you officially open?
June 1st. So we did a 3-day transition from the old location to the new location.
Oh my
So on
God.
day 1, you would do your cardio at the old location, train legs at the new location. And day 2, you could do cardio and legs at the new location and upper body at the old location. And by day 3, we were open fully at one location.
Oh
So we didn't
my.
close for 1 minute.
So we working 24/7.
We were, and we had trucks, and we were carrying equipment on trucks and driving them up and laying floors, and it was a good experience. A lot of people chipped in.
Well, that was at Foothill, the original one. The one on 5th was small, wasn't it?
Correct. It was smaller. It was still mid-sized, but it was smaller than it was. Than it
I've
is
never
currently
been in
now.
that one.
Yeah, it was about half the size.
Oh, then that. And we had more men then, right? Was it mainly men?
It was about 340 men and 10 women at the time.
Really?
Yeah, it was the guys' gym. That's what all the women thought it was. It was really for everybody. But when you have so many bodybuilders, that's what they viewed it as, the guys' gym.
Okay. Yeah, that's how I think I perceived it. That's what it.
You drive by, you see the big blue fans out front and all
Yeah.
the bodybuilders posing by the mirrors.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yes.
There are all these guys. Did you know when you moved? Now you're right on Myrtle, across from Pavilions. You have a wonderful location.
Correct.
And just that's such a great location because people like me go to the gym, you go to the bank, pay the bills, and go over to Pavilions. You can do all of it in one trip. What you had to? How did you figure out the marketing for it? Now
Well,
it's
I took
completely
a
different.
map originally, and I pinpointed where I wanted to be, what I thought was the best location for a gym in Monrovia that would still retain the old but be able to bring in the new. And it was actually going to be where the Coffee Bean is now. That was my #1 location.
Oh, really?
And it was vacant at the time, but it was formerly a bank.
Yeah, that was the old Security Pacific, I think.
And they wanted a 1-year lease. They would only give a 1-year lease. And there was a big safe in the middle of it. So it was about $30,000 to move the safe. And you can't invest that much with just a 1-year lease. I needed a long-term lease.
Oh yeah, my
And I could
God.
tell that they really wanted to get somebody in there and then sell it. That was their plan.
Is that what they did?
And that's eventually what they did.
Okay.
So when we found this building so close to the desired location, it was just a done deal.
Well, I think the parking is easier.
Parking's easier. It's always, anytime you're close to a downtown, there's always going to be certain parking issues. But the nice part is, if you're going to a gym to exercise, parking around the corner and walking 30 seconds
No, I
isn't
don't
really
believe-
a big issue.
Yeah, to me that's never been an.
Yeah.
Even if I'm walking, I can't get parking except all the way on Primrose. That's not a big.
Yeah.
That's not a big
They're
deal.
always really close.
Yeah, everything's close. Then you had to take the marketing into consideration, and you had to do expansion, right?
Correct.
Because you had 200 and some people, or 300. What did
We
you?
were about 250, actually, about 250 members at the time that we moved. And we built it up to just under 2,000. And I basically drained my retirement account. I took $329,000 out of my retirement account
God.
against the wishes of my accountant.
Yes.
And invested it.
That's frightening.
Well, the good part was that October the stock market crashed. So he goes, I got lucky. I would have lost most of it anyway. But I did want to do this business without loans, without having that overhead, just to be able to go in, purchase equipment, do everything correctly, do it myself. And then you can survive the first period where you're not making any revenue.
Right. And how long did it take you to build it up?
It was 13 months from the time we opened
That's not bad.
to the time I had to stop using credit cards to pay bills. So for the first 13 months, we were paying payroll and credit cards.
Okay.
And then it took about another year to pay all of that back and be at break even.
How did you go about your marketing? I mean, well, you're right there. You're right in the heart of, pavilions and people walking. You had a lot of walk-by traffic. But
Tremendous amount of walk by. We had the nice new effect, so everybody wanted to see what the new building was downtown and what was going on. And then we did a tremendous amount of direct mail, flyers, some newspaper advertising, but a huge amount of indirect marketing, things that we did a lot in the community and we didn't expect anything from it, but people turned around and were very grateful. When we got the Monroe Award, the Business Person of the Year,
And when did you get that?
in 2002.
That's from the Chamber of Commerce.
Correct. That was...
You were going to do service, and you weren't thinking about getting anything back.
I was driving into work one day and they were talking about Afghanistan and how everyone's forgotten about the soldiers in Afghanistan, and I was horrified. I couldn't believe that somebody could say that. And I thought, this is wrong. So I contacted the city of Monrovia and went through the Blue Star program, where we started giving lifetime memberships to Monrovians serving in the armed forces.
Oh, yeah.
And that was just an off-the-cuff, this is what I want to do, this is what I feel is the right thing. And then through that, we got nominated for the Monroe Award, and it grew from there. And then we had just this huge response from the community. It was really, really nice.
And you and I have talked, but let's. When I came in, I don't even remember how I came into your gym. I must have been. I don't know. You were across the street, and I must have been walking. And you have 2,000 members now.
Correct.
Wow, that's a lot. And where is your? I guess I'm asking a lot of marketing questions, but where is your target market? It's within a 5-mile range. I know you have a lot of people.
95% of our members are Monrovia.
And then you got a lot of Sierra Madre.
We get some from Sierra Madre, some from Arcadia, and some from Duarte. And then lately, for some very unusual reason, we've been drawing from Azusa.
That's far.
Yeah, a tremendous amount have been coming in. So we're finding that a lot of people, they don't want the large chain. They're looking for the independent club, the different feel, and the more sense of belonging. And so we're starting to draw, they're prepared to drive for it. Because once you get to certain areas, there's no independent clubs.
Yeah, there's 24-hour and...
You have the larger chains, and that's pretty much it now.
Wow, yeah, I don't know. I've never belonged to a larger chain. I just belong to your gym, you know. And that's, I'm still being objective about you because I am the interviewer here. But, you know, yeah, I think you have a good gym. It's a family gym.
Very much so.
And people know each other real well.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of the yoga people for years and years, so you have that sense of community with them. So you managed to do this in 13 months.
Mm-hmm. It was difficult.
Was that working 24/7?
It was working 24/7 in a wheelchair. So that was when I had my accident.
Oh, now when? Okay.
And we moved in May, June, so we opened officially June 1st.
Okay.
And then October 4th, I was powerlifting, and the left leg, when the muscles tore, 1,200 pounds came down my legs and shattered my legs in 21 places.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
That left me in a wheelchair for the next little over a year. Plus a lot of medical bills.
Oh my God.
At that time.
Did you have medical insurance at that time?
We had insurance, but it was about $20,000 a year just in deductibles.
Oh God. So meanwhile, you were still training even when you were in a wheelchair.
Yeah, I trained and competed in the wheelchair.
Okay. Okay. How was that?
It was an awesome experience, actually. It was so challenging. It was so much fun figuring out how to do things. We were tying myself into machines with big rubber bands. Just had a lot of fun doing it. And then getting on stage, posing in a wheelchair, and I actually won a show in a non-handicap class.
Oh my God, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was the first person in history to win at Venice Beach in a wheelchair in a non-handicap contest.
That would be inspiring to veterans who come back in wheelchairs. And
it's for a lot of people, it almost made me part of a club that I didn't even know existed. And it was about people that have been through tremendous tragedies and trauma. And all of a sudden they felt comfortable coming and sharing their stories with me.
Because you understood.
Because I understood, and I've been through somewhat, nothing like what they've been through.
But you had been through enough.
Enough to understand.
I mean, it's like they wouldn't come to somebody like me because I wouldn't go to somebody personally if I had something happen to me that I wanted to share and it was very personal.
Yes.
I would go to somebody who has been there.
It's so personal that you can hurt somebody's feelings quite easily if you don't treat it correctly.
Right. Yeah, that's...
And then we had a lot of people that contacted me that needed help, that were in wheelchairs, that had accidents, and they wanted to know, how do I get out of this? How do I get better?
So they came over?
Yeah, they came over. I did a lot of phone consultations, personal consultations, and a lot of people got some... That was the really good part of it, was that so many people were able to benefit from what I went through.
That's important.
Did
you write a book about it?
People have told me I should.
You should. You really should, because I think it's an important...
That portion of it was. I never gave it too much credibility for myself as far as people would say, man, that's amazing what you did, blah, blah, blah. But mine had a beginning and an end. So I knew this is what happened, but I will walk again and everything will be fine. It's not like somebody who has cancer or some other horrible illness. They don't know the future. They don't know what's going to happen. That's a lot harder to deal with.
Right.
Mine was not life-threatening, and I knew the answer.
Yeah, but still, you were the source of some form of guidance that you could share
Yeah.
your own experience. You know, if you can't share your experience and you're in a situation like that, you don't belong in a situation like that because you're not believable to the people you're talking to. That's
No, I agree.
my feeling about it. I'll give you my feeling. That's the truth. I think most people feel that way. So that was okay. So go forward. So did you find? I don't know. Did you find service? I hear this a lot from entrepreneurs, that sometimes the more service they do, the business just grows, and they don't understand any of it.
There's a direct correlation, but I never talk about it too much because that's not why you do it. You don't help people so you get an applause or so that people will come and join your business or anything like that. You do it because it's the right thing to do.
Right.
I've always felt as an individual you have responsibility in your community, and a corporation or a business is an entity in itself.
Right.
And it is a responsibility. And if you do the right things, good things do follow, but that's not the primary reason you do it.
Right.
And we're very lucky that a lot of people did want to support a business that is active in the community. And it's not about putting the money for it, it's about doing what's right first.
Oh yeah, but you also support Foothill Unity. You're very strong. That's another. That's one of your main.
I adore Foothill Unity,
yes.
And I feel that we're all the flip side of that same coin. There are people who are receiving aid from Foothill Unity, and that could be any one of us at any given time. And I think the past few years in the recession has shown everybody. The one time people that were very comfortable middle class, all of a sudden were dependent on Foothill Unity for basic needs. So it's very important to support them because they give to those that just don't have a choice.
Right, right, and they do such good work in the community. I mean, really incredible work. And it. I mean, Joan, before Betty took over, she said she had never seen anything like the last couple years.
Yeah.
She said what you said. And she says in fact, we're doing a PSA for AARP about hunger in the U.S. And same thing. She said there's so many people, and they're usually like women in their 80s who don't have the money and don't have the food, but they won't call.
Yeah.
And she's talked about that. So most of us, I think, in the community feel strongly about Foothill.
Oh yeah, they do incredible work.
Yeah. So you gave back by doing service.
Yeah, we do service for them. We do our Christmas toy drive, which has grown every year, and probably close to 10,000 toys have been generated through that since we started in '99.
Really?
And it's also makes Christmas at the gym when you see people bringing in, and sometimes you see the people who don't have a lot bringing in a lot. And many people are very grateful because they're grateful for the opportunity to do something. Everybody wants to do something, so when they see an opportunity like this, it really helps them too.
Right, right. I know that. I know. I feel good when I give. I think everybody feels good when they give.
And then I'd take my son and would go drop off all the toys, and it teaches him that same thing too.
I think so.
At Christmas, there's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
And hopefully you can continue that year round.
Yeah, I think so. I agree. I agree. So I know you're involved. You're very involved in Monrovia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're on the
Monrovia Old Town Advisory Board.
Yeah.
I've been part of that since I think 2002, and I've been chairman for 5 years, 6 years.
That's a long time.
Flies by.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
So let's talk now about, besides your service, let's talk about your business and how it impacts you and people in the community. So you do physical training, you do coaching, and you do bodybuilding.
Correct.
Right, did I miss anything?
That's and every aspect of it.
Yeah.
Marketing, bookkeeping.
Well, yeah, that's
everything.
That's just taking it. I'm talking about your real talents.
Yeah.
I mean, you do marketing and bookkeeping. This sales isn't as hard as AT&T.
It's not. I was never actually a true salesman. I never had the magic words. I never had anything like that. I presented what we had very honestly, very fairly, and then I just asked the customer if they would like it. And I never sold. People just bought. People always just bought from me. But what they got was no less than what I had told them it would be. So whenever they received the product or the service, they were always over happy. And that's always been the goal. Just be honest with people. If there are negatives, if there's a contract, or if there's anything they need to know, say it out loud and clear. And then once people know and they're being treated fairly, they'll go ahead and purchase.
So you still do that. I mean,
Yeah.
but you know, you have to do you and Jennifer have to do your work on that, or the staff. But you like to teach. What do you really like to teach?
I love changing lives.
Okay.
And although my job is to change people physically, it really does change them emotionally. When you get somebody who comes in and they're depressed, it's about their weight, but it goes a lot deeper than that. There's much more that's going on.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then as they gain control of themselves, they tend to gain control of their lives. And the favorite text I ever got was a client I trained this summer for 13 weeks. She lost about 55 pounds.
Oh, God.
She came in at first very down in the dumps, and it was like, oh boy, this is going to be a tough one. She left after 13 weeks bouncing off the walls. Every time she came in, it was a joy to see her. She was just full of life. And she sent me a text that said, thank you for giving me the confidence to like myself again. And that summed it all up. That's what it's all about.
And you see a lot of people who, well, what kind of people do you? I know I'm one of your clients, but what kind of people that really come in there? I mean,
every walk of life you can imagine. We have young, middle-aged, elderly, you name it, every single walk of life. I focus tremendously on the figure competitors, so that's more of what I'm looking at, and that's where we take people that really want to do it all. They want to get that goal. They finally reach that point.
No, what's figure competitive?
You have female bodybuilding, which is more or less fading. It's not very common anymore.
Really? Why not?
It's too masculine, too much.
Okay.
It encourages the use of drugs.
Really?
It's not what the average woman would ever want to look like. So then they changed that from bodybuilding to physique, and physique is now where they don't want that shredded masculine look.
You mean with all those, when they look so muscular,
Correct.
like they look like
Where
guys?
it was too much.
It's like they look like
Yeah.
men. Yeah, no.
And that sport was just dying because most women says, I don't want to go that route. I respect the hard work that goes into it, but it's not what I want to go into.
They want to be feminine, they want to be hard, but they want to look soft.
Correct. So now there's three main categories at the
Okay.
amateur level.
All right.
Bikini, figure, and physique. So bikini is the softer version of them all.
Yeah.
Figure is the perfect blend. It's in between bodybuilding. It's not bodybuilding, it's not physique, it's not bikini. It's just real athletic, just beautiful physiques that have worked hard for it. And that's what I focus on. It's just, I love changing physiques, but I need that athletic part of it.
Why?
It's sculpting. I like to see the muscles. I like to see how everything works. It's taking somebody from, they may feel like they're an F and they want to get to a C, but I like to take them to an A. I really, really like seeing that change.
And how old and what's your average woman client? How old and what?
30s, in their 30s. Late 30s, early 40s.
That's interesting. I would think they would be more in their 20s.
No, it's usually people that have had children, that have done a tremendous amount in their life, and now they want to look out. They finally said, no, it's my turn. I need to look after me, and I need to get my physique back. I want to get in shape again. And they've tried it numerous different ways. They've done a bunch of different programs, and then they finally said, okay, they've seen their friends do it. They want to do it the right way. They want the results.
What are the other programs they do?
There's numerous out there of different types of programs and exercise programs, running all day long. They're just spending so much time doing so much cardio and getting nowhere. Spending hours a day on it, but not doing it the right way.
So you you work the machines and you work, I don't know,
for transforming a physique,
okay.
there are, people always assume cardio, and actually cardio is the least important. Nutrition is the number one, and weight training. Weight training increases your muscle size. Your muscle size increases your metabolism. Your metabolism burns body fat.
Make it sound so easy.
If you do cardio all day long, you strip your muscle, your metabolism decreases, you don't lose body fat.
You would think that if you're doing that much cardio every day, your metabolism would be way up, not
your
way down.
lean mass is decreasing. You're doing too much. All you're doing is stripping off your lean mass. All your muscle is going away. You can end up the same weight, but actually have higher body fat.
Really?
So moderate cardio.
Now, what do you consider cardio?
There are two types in general. There's cardiovascular, which is what most people talk about to lose body fat, and there's cardiopulmonary, where you're talking about your heart and lungs. And it's very important to understand the difference. when we say don't do too much cardio, if your purpose is that you wish to lose body fat, don't overdo the cardio. But for heart and lungs, it's very, very different. Good intense cardio is exceptionally good for your heart and lungs and should be done for health purposes. But for purposes to change your physique, 45 minutes of cardio, 3 to 4 times a week, weight train, and good nutrition, you'll fly through it.
And 45 minutes a week?
45 minutes, 3 or 4 times a week. And that works out really, really well.
And people, and they keep it? I mean, you have to continue, I mean, you have to keep doing it. So.
Well, once you figure out where you want to be,
okay,
and this is what your current energy is per day. So you have to take your income of food, reduce it, use the exercise to reduce it a bit further. Once your body weight now matches here, you don't need to reduce it anymore. You can bring your food uptake and you can balance out your life. So there's an initial period of say 3 months where you're pushing it hard to lose the body fat, and then you back off a little bit to maintain.
And I know you have your certification in nutrition, right? So like you're a one-stop shop here. Because you at least have
Well,
explained.
it needs to be. If you go into a program and all you do is run around all day and don't focus on nutrition, you're not going to get as far. You will be healthy on the inside in terms of your heart and lungs. Again, very, very important. But you're not going to get the results that you go for. So if you want to be a great golf player, don't take up tennis lessons.
Right.
But you need to get the whole package. And you need to understand that nutrition is vital in almost anything you're going to do. And that has to be addressed.
Don't a lot of people address nutrition?
In many cases, no. In many cases, it's show up, do XYZ, leave, and no focus on nutrition. And nobody really knows how to eat in order to lose body fat. It's not something you're born with. It's not something that you just naturally know how to eat. You do have to be shown.
Well, is it severe?
No, not at all. The number one complaint, and I tell this before with every client, every group that I talk to, the number one complaint I get is too much food.
Really?
And after the first week, every single person complains it's too much food. Because good food, you take 1,500, 2,000 calories from good food, that's a lot of food.
That's a lot of food.
It's a couple of burgers, but it's good food.
I know I don't eat that much a day.
It's a lot. You have to feed your body in order to lose body fat.
And as you get older, I notice you don't eat as much. You don't need as much. Somehow it decreases.
Yeah. But your metabolism is decreasing and slowing down. Your muscle is losing. So when you train with weights, you reverse that.
No matter what age you are?
No matter what age. I've seen people on stage in their 80s competing.
Really?
And looking amazing.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah. And exercise you can start at any time. Any time at all.
Now, how, when you're doing this, the weightlifting, is in your older, does it hurt the
No, you do the appropriate weight and the appropriate exercise for your condition. So regardless of age, where you start out conditioning-wise, health-wise, all the factors taken into consideration, decides where you start, what weights you use, and what kind of program you should be doing. And then you work from there and you slowly build up. As your strength increases, your tendons, your joints, everything is all okay, you increase a little further and further and further.
Can you increase your bone density?
Absolutely. Whenever you lift a weight, it creates a positive electronic charge, which makes the bones denser. It's one of the recommendations for osteoporosis is to do weight training.
Yeah, I know. And when you're well, you get people in their 60s and stuff. You have
we get people in their 30s with osteoporosis.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, your gym, your gym is very comfortable. You can just, it's just different. It's because I mean the big gyms,
we love the
they feel
fact
like meat
that
factories.
If it doesn't matter what you look like, it doesn't matter your weight, it doesn't matter your age, nothing. When you walk through the door, you're celebrated because you're doing something for you.
Right.
I don't care if you're doing a cooking lesson, I don't care if you're playing golf, playing tennis, whatever it is, so long as you're doing something that is bettering you in some way. And coming to the gym is just that. You may not know exactly what you're going to do, but when you come in, somebody's going to start showing you. You're going to learn from people around you. If you do hire one of the trainers, they're going to teach you at an accelerated rate. But most of all, you're celebrated because you showed up. And that's what I love about the gym.
And your trainers are all different ages too. And the man who died recently,
Gus.
Gus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was in great shape.
Yeah. He was
really,
absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
And he battled cancer for 5 years, refused to give up, 53 days in a row of radiation and chemotherapy, and still showed up for work.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He never wanted to be a burden on anybody. So when they told him that it had spread through the bones and it was time to go home, he went home and passed away that day. He let go.
Wow.
He wouldn't be a burden on anybody.
Yeah, he was a very nice man. But you have a wide spread of trainers, and you have a wide spread of people coming.
Correct.
In the gym.
And when people come in and they ask for a trainer, I match them up with the right trainer, depending on what their goals are, whether they prefer male, female, age groups, all their different needs that they have. I try and match up the right trainer, and I'm pretty good at matching them up, because it's got to be a fit for not only what they're trying to achieve, or personality-wise, you got to have that comfort and trust level.
Oh yeah, it's like here when people, we're very collaborative at K-Gym.
Yeah.
We all have different sets and skills that we bring, and we trust each other, because something's got to get done, and you got to trust the people.
And we have trainers that are specialists in certain areas.
Like what?
Back injuries, diabetes. Each one has certain areas that they're just a little bit better at than the rest. So we match up those as well.
So people who have diabetes, you have someone who really understands.
Yeah. That has a tremendous amount of experience in that arena.
Is it different with diabetes?
There are differences when it comes to nutrition. There are differences when it comes to making sure that the person is ready to work out, understanding how far you can push somebody.
Well, no, I hadn't thought about it. I just...
You need to have a good understanding of the person's condition in order to train them correctly.
Does exercise... Let's talk about the health benefits of exercise. Does exercise lower the insulin levels?
It lowers increases insulin sensitivity. So it makes the insulin that you have, or depending on the type of diabetes you have, it can make the insulin you produce work better by the actual cells being the muscle cells being more sensitive to it. It also, with the nutrition and the exercise, it regulates your blood sugar. Your body performs better, so you don't need as much.
Do they ever get off insulin?
We've had a few, but it's usually when it's genetic or anything like that, it's unlikely. Okay. But in the cases where you're pre-diabetic and the doctor says you're about to, yes, 100% we've had success on that.
What else?
Blood pressure medications. Almost every client that I've had that's been on medication is no longer on any medications. Cholesterol, blood pressure, all of them removed.
And now is that through nutrition?
Nutrition and exercise.
So
and losing the excess weight.
Okay.
Because that places a lot of strain on the body.
Okay, so you really are looking, and knowing you're probably into the emotional and...
Very much so.
You know.
People come predominantly for vanity reasons. And we will get you looking great, but along the way we're going to do a lot more. And then you see those numbers, and suddenly you're really enjoying those numbers. You're going to the doctor, and your doctor's saying things like, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it. Or we're taking away all your medications.
Oh my God, that must feel wonderful.
They come in jumping, to just so happy.
Wow.
It's a really nice feeling.
Yeah, because you see, you see life as life. I mean,
and it validates what you're doing. It makes you feel like you're doing something a little bit more than showing up for work.
Right.
You're making a difference.
Right. Yeah, well, I do yoga, and I feel that way about yoga. I think it's just, if I feel anxious or anything, I go take a yoga class, and then by the time I'm finished, I feel...
Exercise is therapeutic. For some people, they need to do cardio. They need that intense rush from cardio. For some people, it's weight training. For some people, it's yoga. For some people, it's kickboxing or spinning. It's what works for you.
Right, you just met Jeanette, who was on her way out, the fat chick, and she was saying, we talked about this a lot. When you come in, you have to find out what you like, because I told her I hated aerobics. I mean, I went to an aerobics class and someone was screaming, and I didn't want that. Came from work. I didn't want to hear someone screaming. So when I found yoga, I knew that was something that I really enjoyed doing.
And if you enjoy it, you'll keep doing it.
Yeah, you'll keep. And if you don't like it, you're not going to stick with it.
So you've got to make whatever you're going to do fun.
Okay.
And that's what I do with the training too. No two workouts are the same. You'll never do two workouts the same
Really?
with me. Every time it's different. I've got thousands and thousands of exercises, and I will keep it so varied. You don't know what's coming up next. And it's fun, though, because you're learning new things, and you're feeling your body do things that it's never done before.
Are you sore after it?
Yeah. Well, there's two types of sore.
It's a
There's
good
actually
sore.
three.
This is a good sore.
There's the initial sore. And the initial
What's
time you
this-
do it is when you hurt the most. And that's because you've damaged the cell itself. The body will protect its cells. So the first time you do it, you get DOMS. It's called delayed onset muscle soreness. And about 24 to 48 hours later, especially if you've done legs, you're going, oh my gosh, I can't walk.
What did he
But
do
your
to
body
me?
is very smart, and it learns how to protect those cells. And then you'll hear people saying, oh, I never get sore anymore. Well, it's because those cells are protected. You have to have a little bit of fun with them and do different things to damage those cells. But you rarely get as sore as you did the first time.
It's really sore.
It's where it's difficult to walk sometimes after legs. But we gradually get people into it. So when somebody comes into me and they go, okay, we're going to start a program, what weight do I choose? Well, I look at them and I figure out what I think they are capable of doing, and then I divide that in two. And that's
Okay.
where we start. So we always start and err on the side of caution.
Okay, so you break it down. You do half, and where do you do like the first part is upper body, and then
I always start on legs. It's the toughest one. It's good to get the circulation moving, get them fully woken up.
Oh, okay.
And it also really helps me figure out if there's anything going on with joint problems, back problems. People will tell you we do a full physical activity readiness questionnaire. We go through all the medical history. But a lot of times people don't really know that they have certain issues.
Well, they don't think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you know you've got something sore, you just think, oh well, I got something
Yeah.
sore, but you don't think of.
Or that operation was 5 years ago. Does that count? Yeah, it does.
Does it really?
So, oh yeah, every single thing counts. And we want to see what's happening. And then we see the way your body moves. It also depends on the length of your legs, the length of your torso, what exercises you'll be good at, what exercises you won't be as good as.
Give me an example.
Squats. People with long legs are definitely doing squats. People with shorter legs have
Yeah, squats. I mean,
better.
I know when we do squats in yoga, I can get my feet. I mean, I can almost put my tush to the floor in the squat.
Yeah.
That because I have a lower center of gravity. That's the truth, isn't
Yeah.
it? That's why shorter guys do better
absolutely.
in karate and in the
And
martial arts.
The shorter the legs, you're going to have more power. You're going to be able to do things a little differently. And you have to assess that with people. And which way their toes point out, what their natural stance is going to be. And then you find out what's right for that person. And doing the lower body, it's a pretty good telltale. It lets you know what's going on.
So this is like the first
Yeah.
hour you're going through.
You've done the assessment, you've sat down, you've talked over everything, you've gone over their goals, their medical history, medications, you've done all your homework, and now you feel comfortable to take them through a program. So you start on the first session and you take them through it, and lighter weight and just watching their form and seeing what's going on. So it's a learning experience for me at that point, because I'm learning their physique and how it's going to work and what's going to work with them. And then you can build upon it from there. But you don't want to put on a heavy load of weight on somebody and find out, oh, they have a back problem that they never disclosed or they weren't aware of.
Well, how would they? Well, they would know a back problem. They may not know a back problem.
But it's what they consider important. I asked one lady, did she any surgeries, anything at all? No, nothing at all. We sat down and asked her about the 4 holes in her leg.
Well,
that was my surgery for when my kneecap came off. And
So you come in with shorts or something so you can at least kind of see?
Usually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right.
But these are things that you're looking for, and you're always watching and seeing what's going on.
That's
Because it's the same with me. Somebody would say, do we have any injuries you need to know about? No, I'm fine, I'm healthy. Oh, I was in a wheelchair for a year, but that doesn't, it does count.
Yeah, I remember you in the, vaguely, but I don't remember.
Because you just forget, it was so long ago, you don't
Yeah.
think about it. It's not part of your life anymore.
Right.
And it's the same when people come in. They're as honest as they can be, but they don't always remember.
Yeah, so.
Or they're being asked a question, so maybe they're a little anxious. It's their first time in a gym.
Then why are you nosing around into my whole medical history, right? I mean, who are
Or
you?
they're just a little on edge, so they don't recall everything right then and there.
Yeah.
You know, you go to your doctor's office, you've got a list of complaints, you get there, he goes, how are you? Fine. And you walk out the door. Afterwards you go, why didn't I say?
Yeah, with my little piece of paper.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 1 is they do the bottom first.
Yeah, that's where I like to start.
Okay, well, I just like to, we're talking, and I guess people, if I don't know it, I'm sure other people don't know it, right? So then then you go to the...
And then the next time they come in, we'll focus on the upper portioned. And then after that, depending on what the program is and depending on what the goals are, we'll split it up into, for example, 3 workouts a week.
Okay.
And we'll split the body parts up to there. And now we're focusing more intensely on those body parts versus a general workout.
Okay, because I know women as a whole are weaker in the upper body and stronger usually in the lower body, right? I don't know if it's just genetics of women to be...
Well, if you look at the size of the leg and the muscle in the leg, it's a much larger muscle, so naturally it can do a lot more. And the exercises are more compound. You're using more than one joint in that exercise.
Right. But I know men can just handle it better.
Correct.
Even in the yoga positions, the men, there's certain, it's where it's heavy with the upper body. Men do not have the same problems women do. Women just seem to handle the lower body better. So then you work on that. Is that going to be a sore from that one?
It's not a sore for the reason is that you're not, when you do a leg workout, the next day you're walking on your legs, you're using your legs, so you're feeling that pain. But when you do an upper body, you don't have any weight on your upper body. So you'll feel it when you do certain movements, but it's not 24/7 like with the legs.
Okay. So then you alternate.
And then you rotate it, you take 3, you divide the body into 3 and do it over a period of a week. So 1 day on, 1 day off, 1 day on, 1 day off, because rest is just as important.
And then after a certain period of time, let's say with the nutrition now, are you eating like a lot of protein? Are you eating fruits, vegetable, and protein?
It will vary by the goals. It'll vary by the person. The first thing I'll do is I sit down and I have them write out what they currently eat. I've done all their body fat measurements. I've done their weigh-ins. I know their body composition. Then I'll ask them, what are they allergic to? What is the foods that they simply can't eat, they hate? Get those lists out of the way, because again, if it's not fun, you're not going to do it.
Right.
So if I put Brussels sprouts on your menu and you hate Brussels sprouts, then what's the point in even trying? You're setting yourself up for failure.
Right.
So get as much information about them as possible, and then customize the nutrition for their goal. So if their goal is to lose body fat, we will do, and they're training with weights, we do a slightly higher protein, lower on the carbs. The fats just remain wherever they fall. They always remain fine. And customize it for that. Now, depending on their body type, if they're naturally a thin person, you're going to have the meals closer together. If they're naturally a heavier person, you're going to have the meals further apart. Again,
what do you mean the meals closer together?
Every 2 hours instead of, say, for example, every 3 hours.
You have to eat every 2 or 3 hours?
Yeah, like I said, it's a lot of food. A lot of food. 6 to 7 meals a day.
Oh, yeah, but is it, well, I do that, but I eat like an apple at 10 o'clock.
We do breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then
3
snacks in between.
Well, they like an apple, or are you talking about apple, bananas, or
what? Nothing too heavy. But it takes people a lot to get used to that. And again, another question we ask is your lifestyle. Do you have children? Do you work? What do you do? Because that has to be built in. If you're in a job where you can't leave your desk, then we've got to take that in consideration, the type of foods. Can't exactly have you have 7 cooked meals if you don't have the ability to cook.
Right. Okay, so that sounds like a lot of food.
It is. But after a while, you'll be very grateful it's a lot of food.
No, I mean, are your breakfasts big or are they little?
All are moderate sized. You don't want too much because you don't want to distend the stomach, and you want to allow the stomach to shrink a little bit so that the nerves in the stomach don't keep telling your brain that it wants food.
Okay.
If you eat larger and larger foods, you stretch the whole area, and then you become accustomed, and it takes more and more to get that feeling of being satisfied.
Yeah.
So smaller, more frequent meals reduce that.
Okay. So there's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Okay. So talk about some of your stories. I like your stories. My
stories.
Yeah, I like your stories.
What kind of stories?
Your stories about your physical fitness business. This is all about business. But I mean, you've done. If I could share, and I asked you this because I do not want to do anything that would embarrass you on my show. But you shared about a woman who had been abused.
Yeah.
Would you share that story?
She had been kidnapped and raped by 3 men, and she was held for 3 days.
Okay.
And I was totally unaware of everything, and then she came in to me one day. She joined the gym, and all the guys always help and give advice. And I've always felt proud that it's a male-dominant environment, gyms are considered, but this is an area where a woman can feel very, very safe. And she came in and she just wanted to share with me her story, but why she was sharing it was that she finally found a place that she was safe. So much so that she was able to forgive the people that did that to her. And they were never caught.
I've heard that. I've heard that a lot of times. They were never caught. And learning how to forgive is the most important thing. And
when she comes in now, it's this happy person that you're looking forward to seeing every day. Her whole, everything about her aura, everything about her is just this free, happy person.
Because the men were kind to her.
Yeah. And she found something in the gym that works. And I've heard that so many times from people. It's their escape, their retreat. It's so much more than just exercise.
Well, people come to, certain things for certain reasons, or they're attracted to certain places for certain reasons. And your place is very comfortable.
Yeah.
And, because we talked a lot about the big chains and what they're doing. I don't know if you can, you're on my show, so I guess you can say what some of the big chains do, and they can hurt the small business.
Oh, absolutely. And in some cases they do basement pricing, where they offer these ridiculous pricing. They just want you to get in, get your money and leave. They don't want to help. They're very strict in what the trainers are allowed to do and not do. Their trainers are getting paid $7.50 to train you.
But they're
charging you full whack. So you're not going to get quality from that. And it's not the trainer's fault, it's just they're very young and that's all they're getting paid.
Are they certified trainers?
They're certified through their programs, but with certification you have to be very careful. Just because the trainer's certified does not necessarily mean that they really know what they're doing. But anybody can go get a certification.
Oh, really? Okay, explain that now.
It's experience. You really need to have experience. That comes so important. Some of the best trainers I knew in the industry were never even certified, but they could certify the certifiers. They were just that good. Now, it does show that the business has required a certain level of competency, and that's why you look for a certified trainer. It shows they've done a certain amount of homework, but at the same time, it's not a guarantee. You really have to look at their experience. And when you have somebody that's right out of high school and they're suddenly a personal trainer and they've lifted some weights, they do the program, but they really don't know that much beyond that.
Well, is it the program? Now you're talking about some of these gyms to have their own program.
They have their own programs. Some of them use the national certifications, but that's just simply book learning.
Okay.
That's simply you did a course, you learned from the book, but now do you have the ability to apply it? You have information, but is it true knowledge? And true knowledge is the ability to apply that information. And it's to be able to look at somebody and see beyond the books and really see what's going on. So you understand the biomechanics and the kinesiology that's going on, but you don't necessarily understand the person and how to train them correctly. And then are you there for the right reason? Are you there just because it's an easy way to make money? Or are you there because you genuinely want to help them?
And how do you find your? You don't have much of a turnover in your trainers.
No, we're very fortunate. We've attracted some of the top trainers in the industry, and I mean some of the top trainers. They're phenomenal, and they stay with us for a long term. One, because we're independent. Number two, we allow them to train their methods. They're all within that arena of excellence, and we don't want to stifle them. We don't have do it our way or the highway. I want them, and I want to learn from them too. I want to share the knowledge. And then when somebody does apply to be a trainer, we talk a little bit, and then they have to train me. And 99% don't show up.
Really?
Yeah. So if you want to be a trainer, train me. I won't say a word, just train me. Tell me what to do.
And are they intimidated?
Very much, yeah.
Because you're the owner and also a trainer and everything else.
And the good ones will be, sure, no problem, wouldn't you like to do it? And they have a good reputation, and we know a lot about them.
Wow.
But you can tell pretty quickly.
So you're saying that what are the larger gyms called? Is the larger?
We call them commercial fitness facilities. In other words, they are going to, and it's not to bash them in any way. They do a tremendous amount of good, of course, for a tremendous amount of people. It's just their style is different. They are going for as many people as they can to make the revenue and come in, do your workout and leave. We're more focused on the actual change. We want to see you get the results. We want to know why you're joining the gym, and then we want to help you get those results. I hate seeing people leave if, well, it didn't work out for me. And it's like, oh, I don't like that. I want people to learn and to have fun with it, enjoy it, and be part of the family.
The other ones, though, if they're only doing it one way, and they have a person who doesn't go with that one way, then what do?
They make them go that way.
But that's not benefiting the person.
Not necessarily. And now there are exceptions, of course, within those where you do have the very, very good trainers that just haven't made the step to go out on their own.
When they buy these contracts, and when whatever, they buy big contracts, or they lowball the entry fees and all that. Is that because you're small, you can't.
Yeah, they're commissioned salespeople that you're going up against. So you walk into a larger facility, and there's many different ones out there, and they're well trained to get you to sign. They're going to find a way. Then if they'll have the special that ends today, they'll call the manager in to approve the special deal. There'll always be something, and their goal is, they get paid by you signing on the dotted line.
Okay.
And I totally understand that, and that's,
I know.
many businesses go like that. Ours is we want you to join because it's right for you, and if it's not right for you, then that's okay too. But we hope you will see what we can offer.
Okay. Well, we're going to wrap up.
Okay.
And yeah, it's fascinating. I come in a couple times a week, but I don't have these talks with you. Do you want to face your camera?
Sure.
Yeah.
My name is Brian Whelan. I'm the owner of Foothill Gym in Monrovia, California. FoothillGym.com, and our phone number is 626-303-7667. Thank you.
And this is Marlene Gibb with What Do You Do?
This program is brought to you by P. Murphy and Associates, successfully providing IT professionals to Southern California businesses.